not the intimation. Let me know if I can make it on a side show. Yeah.
Yes, we can see the screen.
Thank you so much. So, yeah, I think we've been now delving into the deep sides of these guidelines. And
1 second, ma'am. I am very, very sorry. I actually thought that I was introducing you, and I thought
that's okay, Shivanshi.
I'm really sorry. Please allow me to introduce you properly. Miss Agatha, Dr. Agatha Betsy, ma'am, is a PhD from NIN itself, and she leads the nutrition team in Marico Limited. I now hand it over to you, ma'am. I'm extremely sorry.
I hope now many people would have, understood why I was skipping that introduction. But yeah, so please don't kill me for that. We are all here to deliberate at large and all in common to have combined understanding about the esteemed guidelines that has come in from an esteemed institute. Of course, there's no doubt on that. So I have been today handed over this responsibility to take us all through what I could best learn as the group that we were in, and that is pertaining to the guideline 7, which says use of fats and oils in moderation. Choose a variety of nuts, oil seeds, nutri-cereals, and legumes to meet daily needs of fats and essential fatty acids. And because I've been coming across these kind of questions, for those who do not still understand what are nutri-cereals, they are nothing but millets. So yeah, moving on. This is one sec. Yes. Just putting across a disclaimer that the views presented here via me are based on industry alignment, and they are not based on one organization. They are aligned together to present industry as a whole for this particular guideline. And I think Dr. One of my earlier speakers, actually Subhadra ma'am, she had given detailed description of this guidelines. I just wanted to delve on the pictorial representations that she was alluding to. So we see that the earlier guidelines had a pyramid then as well, and they do have a small snippet of this pyramid in this guideline as well. What they have done very beautifully is the pictorial representation, as ma'am highlighted. They're clearly given that what all should we eat, and as the pyramid has got evolved into a plate system. So they've tried to depict for a common understanding and easy understanding how each meal should be represented as a plate now. So I wouldn't deep dive into this slide. All the definitions of healthy meal, healthy snack, balanced diet are all dealt very deeply by ma'am. Although I just wanted to highlight one particular thing which we highlighted or we could find out was while they have defined healthy snack, they have not given an occasion for that particular snack anywhere. So that's kind of something that I would like to share here. Moving on, yes, of course, they say that a balanced diet is something which provides us all necessary nutrients, including some of the bioactive substances, which are obtained in sometimes from some of the specific foods. And there are some phytonutrients as well, coming under the same bucket. And overall, they exert a positive impact on health. So that's how a balanced diet. And I would like to allude to one point what Dr. Shashikaran mentioned during one of our seminars on last Saturday. He said that these guidelines are for a normal human being, a normal Indian. So of course, any modification in the physiological condition would definitely ask for a modification in diet as well. So that said, I'll deep dive into the guideline 7. Of course, this has been a double-edged sword since long. Fats have not been looked into a very nice picture since long. And there was a very long battle that has been fought by scientific fraternity, by experts, and all the relevant stakeholders to bring in and clear the picture based on evolving science. The dietary guidelines, I'm very, very happy that they have been very imperative here to find out that to actually encourage and enlighten us on the importance of lipids and fats in terms of the physiological functions that they perform. Some ranging from structural components of brain and other cellular organisms, and then cell signaling, hormonal functions, and gene expressions. And of course, one which is known to all of us is the absorption of fat-soluble vitamins. So fat are mostly the concentrated sources of energy. 1 gram of fat gives 9 calories. We all know that. And they are suitable for high energy requirements also. This is particularly for very abnormal conditions when people are not meeting their energy requirement also per day. Fats can be a source in required amounts to fulfill that energy gap. And also, because of this energy density, they give us a feeling of fullness. They give us a feeling of satisfaction, satiety, and therefore leading to delayed hunger for the next meal. In terms of product, it actually gives flavor, texture, and taste, and increases the palatability of the foods that we prepare. Therefore, some of the products, and if I may be able to give you some examples, some of the ingredients that we try to introduce with health benefits, there is some role of fat to modify the texture and to make it palatable, so that some of the beneficial components are entering into the body via the good ingredients. And the dietary guidelines classify fats as the MUFAs, the monounsaturated fatty acids, the PUFAs, polyunsaturated fatty acids, SAFAs, and the saturated fatty acids, and TFAs, the trans fatty acids. And they have given clear requirements whenever they are useful for the body, and clear limits whenever an overconsumption leads to or is evidenced to cause some harmful effects. So PUFAs again are classified into N6 and N3, which are essential fatty acids, and they need to be obviously consumed from the diet. They are not generated inside the body. And we Indians now are evidenced to be deficient in N3 PUFAs. And while the dietary guidelines actually clearly depicts what all are the various sources to fulfill these fatty acids into our diet, they have given references to better ways of cooking, like sauteing, steaming, grilling, boiling, baking. And while having that said, from dietary guidelines point of view, what we also wanted to allude to the fact is edible oils are the primary source of fats among Indians. This is something which was there in the erstwhile guidance, is not there now. And I remember because I used to use that chart very often, and 51 to somewhere around 55% of contribution comes from edible oils. So they really become very important source of fats in our diet. And how to modify the amount of fats, providing a balance of fatty acids, a lot of responsibility lands onto the type of edible oils that we are consuming. And therefore, the quality of fats are also important consideration or determinants, which is something that I find and the team members also find that has been not dealt or not given that due diligence or due importance, that fats are good, they are important nutrients, and they should be consumed as part of a balanced diet. So, yes, they have suggested that PUFAs are required for several health benefits, and they are required on a daily basis. PUFAs, again, are important for health benefits like heart health and all. Saturated fats are not that good. Of course, they need to be consumed in a respective amount. There is an upper limit given to this. However, what probably in my other slides, upcoming slides, I'll just try to build more on this, why the evolving science also should be considered here. And of course, trans fats are declared to be bad, and that is something we all know we should be consuming or avoiding them as much as possible. A detailed, clear clarification on what is the percentage of energy to be provided by every single fatty acid is also given. Very well and very good description here will be helpful for us as the nutrition scientists to devise diet or to devise products also if with this guidance. So this table is very helpful, I would say. And of course, the amount of cooking oil that should be consumed per day remains somewhere around max to 30 grams for a 2,000 kilocal diet. So, so coming on to some industry suggestions that we found that while this is a very deep diving document based on science, and it's very heartening to see that all the evolving sciences have been incorporated, but for some of the cases here and there, which all other members also would highlight. What I would want to say categorically here is consider oils as an essential part of diets, because the narrative on the whole is still coming out as demonizing them. So that's a battle that we've been fought since long, and I would really not want to go back to the drawing board again. So while fats are considered as an essential part of balanced diet by several other guidelines, like from American Heart Association to American Dietetics Association. So it's a like from specialized category to a normal healthy diet, when the guidelines are considering them to be an essential part, something which we also should do. Very spoken about, and of course, uh, they are when they are fortified, they become even better. And some of these oils are actually sole source of certain beneficial compounds like oryzanol, sesamoil. So there cannot be other sources to get these beneficial compounds, and these beneficial compounds are evidenced in science to provide benefits, and especially the cardiovascular health. And India being the primary cause of death by NCDs in India is cardiovascular. So something which can benefit us for such big cause should be really dealt with carefully. And again, on sat fat, as I said earlier, the science is evolving. So generalizing all saturated fatty acids as something which should be limited, which should be consumed with caution, should be, and this document coming in from a scientific lens, I would say that should have been a little bit more of detailing given, because it will again be a textbook for many of us. So it becomes a good guiding source for us to learn more about this, what we have been learning in several other evolving science. So medium chain fatty acids, also known as medium chain triglycerides, are beneficial, and there is an evidence science, but because they're considered as SAFA, and then SAFA should be consumed in a limited amount, of course, there should be a proper diligence to be done, because on the whole, the category of fat is not seen in a good light, but probably those evolving sciences should be given some insights here. That's my basic ask. And then of course, SAFA rich, even if we say there is a SAFA rich oil, not all oils are 100% SAFA, and even if they are to a larger extent, like 90% or so, they are consumed in a very, very less amount by Indians, and the consumption of saturated fatty acids are still very less by Indians when we consider it versus the other populations across. And so some of the terminologies and explanations like hydrogenation and refining are also still, as Dr. Prabodh earlier alluded to this, that these definitions are still not fitting in with existing definitions and existing ideologies presented by FSSAI in our food laws. So these definitions should be, clearly aligned with the existing the definitions and existing ideas, so that there is no confusion among the consumers at large and the manufacturers who are trying to provide uh, safe and healthy foods to people. So while we will be preparing a detailed note, I've just tried to allude to the points that some of these definitions should be dealt carefully. And probably this is my last chart. One of the major thing that we have seen with respect to the fat consumption is that while earlier dietary guidelines talked a lot about the quality of oil, we do not see anything in that reference now. While they have given a chart where they show that not all oils contain so all oils are actually a mixture of all fatty acids. So one oil cannot give you the desired amount of the fatty acid which the guideline recommends you to have. So it's sometimes it's important to rotate our oils, and also, if possible, to consume admixtures, which are actually an easy solve for this. So, okay, I'll continue. So this thing about the admixture oils or multi-sourced edible oils, which was there in the erstwhile regulation where they have given clear choices. So these are consumer-friendly pictorial representations. They have given what should be the ideal ratio, and in order to meet those ideal ratio, how a consumer can actually use all these various oils. So that is something which is clearly missing in this document. So would really request our experts to consider if these evidence scientifically proven uh, insights can be included again. And yeah, my final slide is this. I would really request a proper, careful, appropriate dissemination of the information, because now is the day, or now is the era of social media. Things do get blown out of proportions. So if there is very careful dissemination of information only by the experts and by those who really understand how to really put things in proper proportions when they are reaching out to consumers, so that it helps the consumers to understand the science in a simplistic manner and also helps them to apply them in their life appropriately, leading to a healthy life. Thanks all for your attention. That's all from my side.
Thank you very much, ma'am. Thank you so much for this session. And I think there has been a different highlight on nutrition lately, and especially on COVID. This guideline of ICMR was indeed very, very beautifully explained by you. Thank you so much, ma'am, for being here with us today and sharing your knowledge with us.